Now the records show that Rosemary Carroll asked for an IG investigation to the falsified records and the missing medical records from the 1B board and the alterations of medical reports. The Board of Trustees minutes show the union arguing that there was fraud committed in my case, asking for an investigation. They canceled my medical coverage. Rosemary Carroll asked for a second investigation. And the DA just finished their investigation, and no one had contacted Commissioner Clinton, and Commissioner Clinton is denying that the records, that there was no call for an investigation. Here's Rosemary Carroll from Kligerman and Fries, with copies of 2 letterheads that she sent to Inspector Services, Commanding Officer, Inspector Services Division at 189 Montague Street in Brooklyn, New York, to Chief William Weiss, and the second letter she sent to the Vice President of Labor Relations, 370 J Street, Brooklyn, New York, where she asked for 2 separate investigations. So how could Commissioner Clinton say that the fire department has no knowledge of an investigation involving alleged missing or omitted documents in Mr. Romanelli's medical file that was submitted to the 1B board? She also submitted a lawsuit for the intentional interference and altering my medical documents. She was suing the 1B board before I retired in January 1992. What happened to the records in the fire department? They all disappeared. All the memos, maybe someone calling my firehouse. Arguing my case on record. So in January 2001, before Judge Nicholas Clementi, there was approximately 10 firemen from my firehouse that I worked with that came down to show support for my fraud case before him, along with my wife and my dad. A New York Post reporter was also present, but left because Judge Nicholas Clementi would not hold a hearing inside his own courtroom. He held the hearing behind closed doors with my attorney Gary Berenholtz and Judge Ronald Aiello for an hour and a half and Madga Deconinck. On February 11th, a few weeks later, Judge Clementi issued his decision, which was a denial. What Clementi does next is unbelievable. He denies my case and cites the same findings as the appellate division's reversal. The same fraud that caused the appellate division court to reverse my case. Clementi states that I'm retired on a 1983 broken jaw. That the 1B board had already ruled out. Then again, he states that the second 1B board adhered to the same medical decision, just like the appellate division. Again, a lie, because the board fraudulently changed the 83 broken jaw injury to 11/1/87. That Marlene Gold was also, Mary Sullivan was also arguing, which is another data fraud. Then Judge Clementi states that the 3-man medical board, dated June 10th, 1991, found me disabled for a back disability. Again, this report was fraudulently held back, that the commissioner signed, that the Dr. Jones, the chief medical officer, signed off on. This was never read by the 1B board. And this board mentions that I have a back disability, and Judge Clementi is now stating I got a back disability, just like the appellate division. The court, again, is not allowed to make a medical decision that the 1B board never gave, which is my back disability. Now we have Clementi reading actual medical reports that were fraudulently held back for the 1B board doctors. Again, this is unheard of and unbelievable. We just gave Clementi a lumbar spine MRI that Marlene Gold and Magda and Muriel Sullivan pulled from the records and the court records, along with the 1491 memo that we gave Judge Clemente from my attorney Rosemary Carroll, who submitted them again by memo. That memo was pulled out, and so was the lumbar spine MRI pulled out from the Supreme Court records. We put them in so Judge Clemente can read them. He doesn't read them. Clemente, again, does what the appellate court did, and doesn't even mention the fraudulent disability that I'm retired on. I'm retired on a pain syndrome unattributed to any physical symptoms because all the objective tests were pulled out of the records and the court records. This is why we're going to him. So as of now, I'm still retired on a 1983 broken jaw that the 1B board had ruled out many years ago. What is now again about to happen is even again more mind-boggling. And I never thought that a judge could ever get away with it. We went to Judge Clemente because we had the DA's findings after their first 16-month investigation with the signed affirmation by Ronald Aiello, the former criminal judge, my attorney. This is the reason we went to Judge Clemente. What does Judge Clemente do? He never mentions the signed 4-page affidavit involving the Brooklyn DA investigation. Not once in his 13-page decision does he ever mention I had a DA investigation and what the DA's findings were. So now we got Judge Clemente at my fraud hearing covering up, committing fraud himself, covering up the DA's investigation. Not only that, but the reason we went to Judge Clemente also was the Fire Department Administrative Law, where there's no statute of limitations on, 13377. Madga Deconinck, we showed Judge Clemente that in her Magda's 5/1997 letter from the Corporation Counsel, Madga Deconinck and Commissioner Clinton signed, that this law does apply, but not to Romanelli, because Romanelli's evidence was read by the 1B board. So now Judge Clemente covers up the 13377 law, the law we went to him for, in order for him to ask, and he never answers to it. Not once does he answer to the 13377 law, fraud or mistake. After this decision, I called Charles Guerra from the Brooklyn DA's office, Rackets Division, and I told him that Madga Deconinck just altered my EMG report dated September 27th, 1991 to September 17, 1991, that she just altered this report. We showed Judge Clemente she altered the report. Judge Clemente doesn't even mention anything about it. She does this to try to support the fictitious pain syndrome that I'm retired on.